Welcome to the Managing Drought in the Southern Plains webinar series. I'm Margaret Boone, Program Manager of the Southern Climate Impacts Planning Program, with your briefing for Thursday, March 20th, 2014. This information is brought to you by the Southern Climate Impacts Planning Program in association with NOAA, NIDIS, and the National Drought Mitigation Center. So what has changed over the past week? Drought conditions have worsened across southeastern Colorado into western Kansas and southward into western Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle region, where soil moisture is extremely limited since precipitation over the past 90 days is less than 10% of normal. Some areas of southeastern Oklahoma received 2 to 3 inches of beneficial rain, and drought conditions in that region have eased a little bit. On Tuesday, March 18th, western Oklahoma, the Texas Panhandle, and into eastern New Mexico experienced yet another dust storm with a strong cold front that moved through the region, and we'll look at that a little bit. And then, unfortunately, little drought relief is in the immediate forecast from the Pacific through the Great Plains region. This is the newest Drought Monitor released Thursday, March 20th. It is mostly unchanged from last week except for the worsening conditions across parts of the Southern Plains. Zooming in a little closer, there has been slight expansion of the D1, D2, and D3 drought categories, especially across southeastern Colorado and into western Kansas. D3 and D4 drought conditions have expanded across the Texas Panhandle. Again, there was a small reduction in drought severity across southern and southeastern Oklahoma, where they had some recent heavy rainfall. And then across the west, very little has changed since last week. The recent rainfall departures over the last 14 days show the rainfall across portions of southeastern Oklahoma that led to the lessening of the drought severity in the area. Elsewhere, unfortunately, the larger precipitation deficits are still very visible. As we move into spring, it is crucial to begin thinking about soil moisture. These experimental graphics created by the Arkansas Red Basin River Forecast Center out of Tulsa show the upper and lower soil moisture zone anomalies. The upper zone anomalies, shown in the upper left, best show the shorter-term moisture and precipitation impacts. It's apparent from these graphs that there's recent deficit in rainfall across western Oklahoma and Texas Panhandle. Part of the reason we're starting to see these dust storms out that region as the upper zone of soil moisture is very depleted. And then in the lower right, you can see the lower zone anomalies, and those are better indicative of longer term impacts. And as you can see, the red and orange areas, which are again indicative of dryness, are much more widespread across the southern plains. These areas, even with our past spring rains last year and then some winter precipitation, are showing the impacts of the lingering drought conditions that we've had going back now several years. These maps will be interesting to follow as we move into spring, which is typically our wet season. The 5-day outlook shows the possibility of precipitation across parts of southeastern Oklahoma and along the Gulf Coast. Temperatures are expected to be below normal for most of the eastern half of the United States, with temperatures ranging anywhere from 3 degrees below normal along the Gulf Coast to 18 degrees below normal in the northern tier of states. And then regions along the west coast could be anywhere from 3 to 9 degrees above normal. The 8 to 14 day outlooks, which are valid Friday, March 28th to Thursday, April 3rd, indicate below normal temperatures are expected across the northern tier of states and the Great Lakes region, with above normal temperatures expected across the southern third of the U.S. The northern half of the United States could see above normal precipitation, whereas areas of New Mexico, far west Texas, and southeast Arizona could see below normal precipitation. And then these are the CPC 3-month outlooks. They were actually just updated today and are valid for April, May, and June. Equal chances of above or below normal precipitation conditions prevail across much of the United States, with the exception of below normal precipitation possible across the West Coast. The West Coast and the southern region could see above normal temperatures, with below normal temperatures possible across the Great Lakes and the northern tier of states. And then, well, we had another dust storm on Tuesday, as I mentioned previously, with the strong cold front that pushed through the region, and then the lingering long-term effects of drought. The ingredients were there for yet again another dust storm. This compilation of satellite images was put together by the National Weather Service in Norman. You can see not only the dust moving southward behind the cold front in Texas in eastern New Mexico and western Oklahoma. But you can also see a secondary area out ahead of the cold front coming up from the southwest that brought dust from western Texas, actually across most of southern and central, and even somewhat into northeastern Oklahoma, and really reduced visibility in a lot of areas, including some roads in the Panhandle regions that had to actually be closed due to the blowing dust. The monthly drought outlook is the same as last week, issued February 28th. We'll have a new one issued not next week, but should be 2 weeks, March 31st. This shows mainly persistence across the drought-stricken areas, with a few places along the west coast seeing possibly some minimal improvement. As always, please join us for these briefings and full topic webinars. For more information, please visit our SCIP website, southernclimate.org, to register for more information if you haven't already. These briefings will be posted to the SCIP YouTube channel as well as our website. Please like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at skip_RISA for more information. We thank you for joining us and have a great week.